rapper Cdai, he actually locked up on a murder case. Cdai and Rondonumbanine, they say they killed the cab driver. You know, he doing like a podcast while he locked up in prison. So he talking on the phone, telling old 600 stories and shit like that. You know, he spoke on that murder case. You know, he said that he was offered 20 years to snitch on Rondonumbanine. He would have only had to do like 10 years. Plus, he was already locked up sometimes, so he would have came home in like 8 years. He'll be home right now. He had an opportunity to snitch on Rondo, but he didn't do it.
I'm doing time for a crime I didn't commit, you know what I'm saying? So basically, the state tried to get me to tell on my rappy Rondo. The state tried to offer me 20 years at 50%, which I would have came home in 2019 if I would have took the deal and testified against my brother. But you know, that ain't how I'm rocking, you know what I'm saying? When you sign up for this street shit and when you jump off the porch, man, you gotta live by the code.
You know, that feel weird because he kind of make it feel like maybe Rondo was the shooter and not Cdai. There's a lot of people that feel like Cdai was the shooter. But this podcast kind of made shit sound a little different. Hit the like button. Go on this video 1,000 likes. You know, when this shit happened in the courtroom, you know, they was arguing over and over the courts about who the shooter was, you know. They claimed that, you know, they killed this cab driver. Cdai walked up to the car, asked him where he was from, and then they shot in the car 7 times. The cab driver was killed. You know, there's rumors of snitching on the case with Tay 600 and all kind of shit. That was in the past, you know. Tay didn't put out paperwork to prove that he didn't do that, you know, from what he says. You know, Cdai said that the state tried to give him 20 years at 50% to get on the stand and testify and point out Rondonumbanine. And he didn't do it because that ain't street shit. You know what come with the streets. And this kind of feel like this could be true because they were both convicted. Normally when you get convicted, we find out who the shooter was, who the person that fired the fatal shots. We still don't know to this day. And it's so confusing that the streets say Rondo killed him. I mean, the street says that Cdai killed the man. Well, Cdai got less time than Rondo. Just think about that. Even though it ain't that much less time, Rondo was given 39 years. Cdai was given 38 years. So I don't mean that's a big difference, 12 months, but normally the person that fired the fatal shot get the most time. If they're gonna give time and everybody ain't got the same time. Rondo was given more time than Cdai. So I don't know, maybe the courts feel like Rondo might have shot that fatal blow too. I'm not sure, but he didn't dabble too hard into it though, but he did speak on that. And the little shit that he spoke kind of feel like, he might be locked up in jail for a crime he didn't commit. Not saying that he wasn't there shooting and all kind of shit like that, but as far as firing a fatal shot, just shooting, this guy could have cooperated, told the police, and did 10 years is what he's saying. He done been locked up like 10 years. He'll be home right now.
I'm doing time for a crime I didn't commit, you know what I'm saying? So basically, the state tried to get me to tell on my rappy Rondo. The state tried to offer me 20 years at 50%, which I would have came home in 2019 if I would have took the deal and testified against my brother. But that ain't how I'm rocking.
So I don't know. It's all kind of rumors because Rondo lawyer at the court date, in the appeals, Rondo made it known that he felt like his lawyer could have fought for him harder, and shit like that. You feel me? Rondo lawyer was in the courtroom and he tried to make it seem like they need to focus more on Cdai being the sole shooter. Y'all feel like Cdai did it. Why y'all fucking with my client? And shit like that. But when you listen to this podcast and do your homework, it feel like maybe Rondo might have been the shooter. I'm gonna keep y'all updated on this. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. But it looked like Cdai is opening up about that fatal day that left a cab driver killed.